Hello, 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 hello. Let's let everybody get in from YouTube to Instagram. Hello, hello. This is the first time you've been in one of my live streams. My name is Brella. What I do is I create Pedestal Wives. Today we're going to talk about vetting for the beginning Pedestal Wife. Give me a second. I'm just trying to get the YouTube information up so I can see everything that's going on YouTube. All right. I've done videos in the past about vetting, but this was a requested video, so we're just gonna go ahead and dive in. First of all, before you are even talking about vetting a man, please make sure you do the work. Do the inner work of yourself. Make sure you're right within first. That is the very first tip that I can give you in vetting. Because we have the tendency of attracting things inside ourselves or attracting people that's reflection of our own insecurities, traumas, and triggers. So get those under control first before you go out in the dating world. Because relationships are reflective. And I'm going to say that again, relationships are reflective. I learned that the hard way when I started dating. I learned it the hard way when I got drugged through the mud. Because of the fact that I just didn't know my self-worth. I had really bad self-esteem issues. And they were not created because I came from a horrible family or anything like that. It was basically the same thing, the same story I've heard from other women. Going to school, and not having the backup or having the self-esteem to counteract what people were telling me in the school system. So it messed up my self-esteem, it messed up my self-worth, it messed up how I viewed myself. So when I went out into the dating world, relationships are reflective. So I ended up getting someone who actually just learned how to trigger my triggers. They just learned how to pick at my insecurities. And that's how they kept me around for a very long time. I would say that relationship lasted probably about 2 to 3 years. And it shouldn't have lasted that long. I should have came into my own before that. But do the work first. The very first thing you need to do is check on yourself within. Check on yourself within. See if there's any triggers, any traumas, any things that you're dealing with internally first, so that you don't go out here and attract those things that are, familiar to you. You want a healthy person? Do the inner work first. So that's the very first thing I'm going to give you. Number 2, check him out. There's nothing wrong with checking him out before the first date. If you know his name, I love the technology age that we currently have where you can actually Google somebody's name and it pulls up so much information about them. You can find out someone's background, somebody's education. You can find out any digital footprint that they have. You can pretty much see it there. So check them out. Have no shame in your game. And if you live in a small town, take advantage of that. Word of mouth is priceless. The thing about me meeting my husband in a small town, I was able to ask other people about him, and they were able to give me his history. Y'all know how people talk in small towns. They're gossipy. They like to gossip. So it was very easy just to check him out by word of mouth within our small town. So check him out, background, education, and if possible, income. Remember we talked about income yesterday? I gave you guidelines for that. Age, 3 times the amount. If it's not average or exceeding, that is what you're looking for. And another thing is make sure that when you're vetting, that you're also paying attention to the high masculine energy that this man has. Okay. Do not expect for a man to be ambitious if you meet him and he's meek. Do not expect for a man to display masculine traits when he's not doing that in the first place. If you had to walk across the room to get his number, don't expect him to be ambitious. Don't expect those qualities from him. So make sure that you're looking for those within him when you're talking to him, when you're having interactions with them. You're looking for those high masculine energy traits to come through, especially if you're looking for a different type of relationship. On this page, we're all about traditional relationships and traditional marriages. So you're looking for a different type of lifestyle that's not even common, no more. Honestly, what I talk about over here, It's not something that the world is currently doing. It is old fashioned to date and live the way that I advise women to date. Okay. So if you're looking for that, you're going to have to do a lot more digging, a lot more listening, a lot more paying attention to his mannerisms and how he treats people and how he speaks to people. Those things are very important. I want to go ahead and make sure that y'all realize I wrote a vetting book, and it's a year and a half old. So I wrote the book on this, and it is basically on vetting. It's quick. It's probably about, how many pages is this book? It's very quick. It's a quick read. It's like 40 something pages. It's a very quick read because it only focuses on vetting, and that's it. But next thing is create a husband list. Create a list that for your husband. And on that list, you're allowed to put characteristics, you're allowed to put values, morals, accomplishments. You're allowed to put those things up there. Only thing you're not allowed to do is put looks. Looks are not allowed on a husband list. But you can create a husband list, and this will keep you grounded while you're dating. So you don't get sidetracked by little Ray Ray because he looked good, or he got swag, or he smelled good. You won't get sidetracked by him because you're looking for a certain type of man. You already have it written out. You can look back at your paper and say, hey, this person, this characteristic, this value is not on my husband list. So he is not the guy that I want to talk to. Another thing is ask the right questions. Make sure you ask the right questions. What I have developed is I call it the VMARK resume. And I develop questions based off that. The VMARK resume means the V is for values, the M is for morals, the A is for accomplishments, and the R is for readiness, and the C is compatibility. And what I would do is create questions around those aspects so that I can figure out, okay, what does this man value? And that's one of the questions you need to ask. I wouldn't even ask it that plain. If I was wanting to find out what a man value, I'd be like, you can ask him what is the most important thing to him. You can ask him if he was on a deserted island, what 3 things would he take with him, or what 3 letters would you write to 3 different people. Be very creative in asking these questions so he doesn't feel like, oh, she's just throwing questions at me. Make sure it's fun, it's interactive, and it's playful, but you're still listening and getting information you desire. So I will create questions around the VMARK resume. That's going to give me the insight into what he values. What are his morals? What is his accomplishments? Is he ready? And when I say is he ready, I'm not talking about the readiness that is out here going floating around social media when they're telling you, oh, you need to make sure you get a guy that is out of his sex stage. Let me explain something to you. I'm going to say this again. I'm going to say this a million times if I have to. Men never get out of their sex stage, okay? Like a man could be on 1 foot in the banana peel and 1 foot in the grave, and he still would be wanting to have sex. So don't look for that. When I say readiness, I'm talking about his purpose. If this man has not met the basic necessities, when we talk about Maslow hierarchy of needs, where a person has to have their basic needs met in order to even be ready for an intimate relationship. So if his basic needs have not been met, he's not even ready for a relationship. So you can just like, oh, well, he's not ready. He's not ready. And so the readiness is about his purpose. Where is he at in life currently? Is he in a space in his life where he's ready for a wife? And no, men are not. The older men might be walking around saying, I'm ready for a wife, but y'all trying to date men that are 1 or 2 years older than you are. They're not walking around saying, I'm ready to be a husband. That is not it, sis. So make sure the readiness is about the purpose, is about where he is in life, is his basic necessities taken care of, or is he just don't have the space? He don't have the time because he's still building right now. He's not looking for anything because of the fact that he is in the process of building. His focus is on his purpose and not on a woman. So you need to look at that. Is he ready? Is there space in his life for you? If there isn't, then you already know the answer to that. Compatibility. Compatibility is very important. That is the piece for polarity. That's the attraction piece, personality and needs. Because it doesn't matter if he checks all of your wants and all of the things you want in a husband. If y'all just don't miss. Your personality is just too left, and it's just not gonna work. Or if the polarity is off, maybe he's a little effeminate, he's a little bit feminine, and you're feminine. You already know what I believe about polarity. Polarity has to be within that relationship for it to work, for you to have attraction. The personalities need to have they need to be able to mesh. That's one of the reasons why relationships don't work sometimes, because these things are missing from it. So make sure the compatibility is there before you even go forward. Another thing is to get to know his family and friends. That is super important. Do not negate or neglect to get to meet his family and friends. His family and friends are where his beliefs, where his how he treats and thinks about women come from. So you want that information. Remember, birds of a feather flock together. And my grandma taught me that for a reason. Because a lot of times when you get around these certain types of men and their friends are acting a certain way, they are that. That's the reason that they're friends. This is the reason why they're flocking together. That's the reason why they hang out together. They have so much in common. And you need to pay attention to that. And remember, the family is where like scarcity comes from. Mindset, ideas come from. Values come from. So you need to know the family. It's super important. You get to meet the mother, the father, the cousin, the brother. Anyone that's important in his life, meet them. Meet them so you can figure out, like, you may see that behavior again. That's the reason why it's super important that you meet all of the people that has influence in his life. But vetting, there is no 100% plan for vetting. I can tell you that off gate. But you should have some type of guidelines of, things that you're looking at to vetting man. You shouldn't do it willy-nilly. You shouldn't do it based off your intuition or feelings. Those things are not going to fly when it comes to vetting. So you want to make sure that you are doing the work, making sure that you're just not, being led around by your hormones. I believe there's a lot of relationships that people got together because of their hormones. They got together because they were good in bed, and they try to create relationships surrounding that situationship. And that is the reason why the relationship failed. And if you are operating like that, that's not going to be successful. I would not just, put all of my eggs in one basket on, being attracted to a person. I would actually have a guideline. And this is the reason why I wrote a book just based off vetting. It is not about dating. It is not about anything else but vetting. It tells you different things that you need to look for, red flags. I can get into some of the red flags because there's so many in the book. In the book, there's some red flags that you need to be looking for, and you need to be looking for those as soon as possible. When you start the vetting process, that starts at hello. Okay, I might not ask all the questions on the first date, and I never did ask all on the first date. Usually, I would wait till like the second date in order to ask more questions. But like I tell a lot of my clients, what I would tell them to do is focus on at least 2 or 3 things you need to know ASAP. 2 or 3 things that you consider like your deal breakers. Like if you're a person who, let's say you're a Christian, and you don't want to waste your time with someone who isn't one, that is something you're going to try to find out on the first date. Because if that's absolutely a deal breaker for you, then you don't want to go further into the relationship and then start getting emotions and your feelings entangled with this person. And this person's not, a Christian, and that's important to you. It's important that you be a Christian, he be a Christian, you raise your children to be a Christian. So if that's important, that's something you need to find out on the first date, or maybe even before the first date. The texting and the calling that y'all are going to be doing, and sending them back and forth, which you shouldn't do too much of that before the first date in the first place. Okay, you shouldn't do too much of that because you're going to give too much away. Remember, even while you're vetting, one of the things your job is, the first thing you need to do while you're vetting is to protect your blueprint. That is what you're supposed to do. This means you're not supposed to give everything away. And the reason for that, when you're getting into a relationship, and I see this mistake being made a lot by a lot of women, they give away too much. And then when they give away too much, and then they feel used. They feel used because they gave away too much and they wasn't asked for it. You gave it away for free. So when you give stuff away for free, you have to realize people will stand in the line and get something for free. And they're gonna ask. That's human nature. Human nature is to try to get something for free. Human nature is to stand in that line and get a free lunch. So you have to recognize it. If you give every piece of yourself away without any of it being earned, that is on you. That is on you, because that's how the human nature is, to get a free lunch. I've seen the most wealthiest people go get in line and get a free box of, when they were giving out the meals away. I've seen people who were wealthy get in those lines because it was free. So I know it's human nature just to stand in line and get a free lunch. So if you don't make a person earn you, if you don't make a person earn those pieces of you, and you give everything away, and on your husband list, you should have certain things that you specify that it's going to be done for your husband only. Should not be done for a boyfriend, should not be done for a person you're dating. It is done for your husband only. This means, and it could be a variety of things also. Whatever is on that list. It could be something as far as sex. It could be something as far as, I'm not going to move in with this person until we're married. It could be something, it depends on what is your rules of engagement? What are your rules to be able to get to that thing that you require that is of you? What are the rules that you have for people to get pieces of your blueprint? Your blueprint is of you. It is what made you you. Is what made you, what made me Braille is my blueprint. And that is what people have to earn with me. What makes you you is your blueprint. And that is what people need to earn for you. And that's when you're vetting, you need to have that in consideration. Making sure you're not giving everything away for free and then get triggered or get upset when you realize that no one gave you anything of value for you giving pieces of your blueprint away. This is where you don't walk away from a relationship or even a dating experience feeling like you're used. You don't feel used when you actually have, you're not giving it all away in the first place. But if there's any questions, I'm going to answer those. But I wrote a book for vetting. I got a vetting checklist off of my website. And thank you for the people who already went and got the checklist, because that's going to help you be able to look at different pieces and check it off to see that you have already, got that far on that list. So if there's any questions, we're going to wrap this video up. It's not going to be long. It's not going to be long because vetting, like, one, I wrote the book. Two, there's a checklist for vetting. Three, when it comes down to vetting, you still make the rules on that. The thing is, even if you don't want to use any of the things that I gave you for vetting, one of the things you need to do is think about your blueprint and think about what would make you feel okay with giving that piece away. And then write a rule down for it. That is vetting. If you don't feel comfortable in staying overnight at some man's house, what is the rule for entry? What is the rule for him being able to get that? Or you don't feel like even cooking for me, what is the rule to entry? What do you feel like that is he has to give you in order for him to get that? And yes, men don't like that, but let me explain something to you. We don't care about that. You have to actually protect your blueprint. You have to protect your blueprint, just like he's going to protect him. Men automatically decide to protect the blueprint. They know how to protect the blueprint. They don't just give it away like women do. I found that women give away their blueprint pretty easy. And they don't really think nothing of it because they're such nurturing souls. That's what it is. It's that nurturing part of us that just want to nurture other people and make sure they see us in a good light. So we want to do so much, not realizing we should be vetting. We should be protecting pieces of ourselves, making sure other people earn it before they get it. What are your rules? Vetting is you create the rules for vetting. Create your own rules to what it's going to take for a person to get something from you. What it's going to take for another person to understand your blueprint. And that's how you vet. Hi, Brielle. What kinds of things do you see women giving away too soon as far as their blueprint? Everything. Everything. I've seen, okay, let's go ahead. I'm not going to say any names, but I've had a client that just gave everything away on the first day. Gave everything away. What I mean by everything, they told about how their ex-boyfriend had mistreated them, how they were broke, how they weren't getting anywhere in their career, like everything. I've seen women will give away everything. They start talking too much. And y'all talking is very feminine. Well, you need to get control of your lips. You should understand that your blueprint need to be protected at all costs. Make sure that your blueprint is earned and not given away. Then you won't feel like when you walk away from a dating experience or a relationship, you won't feel like you've been mistreated. You won't feel like he did you dirty. Because he didn't do me dirty. You know why? Because I didn't give anything away. He had to earn every piece that he got. So if I gave something to him, he earned it first. He didn't get to know about what happened to me when I was in the 5th grade, because guess what? He earned that piece of me first. He didn't get between my legs either, because he earned that also. Everything is earned, then you don't feel like nothing is taken. You don't feel like nothing is mistreated from you. I mean, if you operate in that manner, you don't really need me for vetting. You don't. You just don't. Go through and create all of your blueprint. Your blueprint is you. All of the situations that you want to share with a man, that you normally would share a man, instead of just giving it to him, instead of let him buy you a $10 meal, sit down and think about, what are the rules for him to be able to get this? What are the rules for him getting to know about my childhood? What are the rules for him getting to know about what happened to me in the 5th grade? What are the rules for him getting between my legs? What are my rules? And that's your vetting. You don't need me. You really don't. Because I've seen, and thank you, baby. Thank you, Pedestal Wife on YouTube. Because of the fact that is true. I've seen so many women just give it all away. And let me explain something to you as a wife. As a wife, you won't feel used either if you keep to the same tactic. If you keep to the same technique, you will not feel used. You will feel like, okay, well, maybe it's time for this. This is the reason why everything should have a rule attached to it for a person to get access to it. Then you will not feel used. And then if you actually keep into the mindset of, I'm not going to give this away unless he's my husband. And then guess what? I'm not going to give this away to him unless he's been with me for 2 years as my husband. I'm not going to give this away to him if he's been with me for 5 years as my husband. Longevity, baby, longevity. That is how you don't give everything away and feel like you've been used once you've given it. You can create your own vetting strategy. You don't need me. You really don't. Sit down and think about what is going to be the best way, what rules need to be tapped for what you need to give away. And then have a plan to be able to have it written down so you can have it ground yourself. Then you won't be like, okay, if you give it, what you got something in return. You don't feel used. You don't feel abused. You don't feel like he ran over you. You feel like, oh, it's an equal exchange. I would prefer to walk away from a relationship feeling like it's an equal exchange than feel like I was abused and used. That's the reason why I say you don't need me for vetting. You really don't. You just need to sit down and think about your blueprint and think about what rules of entry do that person need to have to get access to it? What rule do you need to have to let the door open to your childhood? What rules does he need to have? What does he have to give you in order for you to open that door? What does he have to give you in order for you to open your legs? What does he have to give you in order to get you to even cook a meal for him? These are rules of engagement. You don't need me for vetting. You just need to figure out what feels good to you, what is going to not make sure that you're not feeling like you have been abused, misused, or you're being taken advantage of. What rules is going to do that for you? And then write them down. Keep them somewhere. Keep them somewhere to keep yourself grounded. Y'all, I believe in journaling. I believe in writing. I believe in like writing my thoughts out. Having something written so I can keep myself grounded in the direction or path I'm trying to go. So this is what you would need to do. Like I said, you don't need me for vetting. This is the reason why there's going to be a quick video because you don't need me. All you need to do is sit down and what's going to feel good for you. What rules do you need to allow yourself to even move in with a man? What are those rules? What do you have to do to get that from you? And then write it down and go through each and every one of them. And then you won't have to worry about vetting. You'll make sure that when you come, if it doesn't work out right, because nothing's 100% for one. I don't want anyone to ever think that anything's 100% because nothing 100%. Anything you do in life is always a risk. Relationships are a risk too. So at least if you walk away or it doesn't work out, guess what? If he had to prove himself, if he had to give you something before you gave him, you don't feel like you've been abused or taken advantage of. You actually come out of the relationship feeling a lot better. Can you talk about vetting as it relates to boundaries and standards? Well, I kind of talked about that. I talked about values. The VMARK resume, you can do that. I call it a VMARK resume. And what I do, I talk about the values, the morals, the accomplishments, readiness, and the compatibility. You can your standards, and you can write those down too. Like I said, y'all don't really need me even for that. Not even for that, you really don't, because you can write those standards down and be like, if I don't get this, then he can't have this. You can create your standards and write them down, and then you can keep yourself grounded by what standards you have. And that's how you can vet. But before you can do all that, make sure that you do the work on self. So that when you're doing the work on self, remember, relationships are reflective. Make sure that you understand and you have worked through all of your own issues, your self-esteem, your self-worth, your insecurities. You work through all of those issues first, and then you can get to vetting another person. Then you can get to creating your husband list and going by the VMARK resume, which is the values, the morals, and the accomplishments, the readiness, and the compatibility. But like I said, you don't really even need that. All you need to do is create your blueprint and then think about rules of access, rules of engagement. What does he have to give you to get to this? And then that's going to help you with your vetting. Like I said, you don't even need all that. Of course, your boundaries and standards, you should have them, of course. You should have them, of course. Okay, let me see what everybody's saying before, like I said, because it's gonna be a short video. Thank you, Brill. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you. Pedestal Wife on YouTube. She said, "What do you think about asking him to show you his ID early on, if you want to cut down time?" Like, I don't see y'all. I don't see why not. Do y'all know that men, like, if they really like a girl, they'll do some weird stuff. They'll do some weird stuff. So you be like, "Hey, can I see your ID?" And he'd be like, well, he'd be like, why? Because I just want to make sure that we're going out, that you're not somebody, you're not just giving me a, just telling me the wrong name or something like that. Because, men like to play so many games. Yeah, I don't see why not. I would sit here and just say this, say that. If you want to cut down some time, because I know exactly where you're coming from, Pedestal Wife. You want to sit here and cut down some time to see who he is, because then you can do the research. Like, y'all, there's people, women have stepped up their game. There's some women who do background checks on men before they go out on dates with them now. So, and I'm not going to sit here and say that's a yes or no for that. If you feel more comfortable going on dates with a man that you can do a background check, more power to you. More power to you, because I'm not going to sit here and lie. I didn't go on dates with anyone unless I kind of did a word of mouth kind of thing about them to find out who they were. Because we didn't have the internet back then. But I'm thinking if I had access to the internet, I would use that too. I would make sure that I'm not sitting here wasting my time. I'm not going to sit here and waste my time and go out with somebody who got a warrant or got somebody who got problems, and I can see it a mile away and I still go on a date. I'm not wasting my time, like, especially if you on purpose. You're trying to get you have a purpose for the reason you're dating. You're not just dating for fun. If you're dating for fun, I guess it don't matter. But if you're not dating for fun, you're dating to be a wife, and you just want to get on with the business, then do it. I don't see nothing wrong with it. Haha, that's cringe, but smart. I think it's smart. I think it's very smart. If I had access to the internet, like y'all have now, like, I would actually sit here and cut some time out and actually go ahead and Google his name so I can find out who he is. Because then you can find out. The thing is with social media, the way it is, people have a digital footprint and they don't even realize it. People put so many things on their Facebook, not realizing you can go right up there. Your Facebook is open. A lot of people's Facebook is open. A lot of people Instagrams, they're open. And since it's open, you can find it easily just by using Google. And so, and using having his full name, it's gonna cut some time down because you can see what this man is posting. If he up there on social media acting a freaking fool, and you already know you're not dating that type anymore, you're like, well, let me go ahead and pass on that, and let me go ahead and give him a call or a text. I'm not gonna show up. You might as well replan or do something else, because it's not. This is not for me. I have something else to do. You can actually cut out time. So I get what she's saying. If you got access to his whole ID, I agree it is cringe, but hey, if he's some men that like you, they will try to do some stuff, like they will let you see their ID. Especially if you're more concerned, if you put it in a way of being concerned about dating a criminal or dating someone, or you just want to make sure that my friends know who you truly are. It's like protection. I don't know you. So I don't see why he wouldn't, unless he's trying to commit a crime. Now, he's trying to commit a crime, maybe he might not want to then. But then you'll kind of know that he ain't giving you any information about himself. But like I said, you don't need me for vetting. You really don't. All you need to do is look at create your rules of engagement, your rules for requirements for getting certain things from you. Write that list out. If it is sex, it is moving in with them. If it is cooking them a meal, or if it is something simple as lingerie, whatever it is, write it down what he has to do to earn those things from you, so that you don't, if something goes left with this relationship, you don't feel like you've been taken advantage of, because of the fact that it's even exchange at that point. But if there aren't any more questions, I'm going to get ready to go. And remember, I wrote the book. The book is on my website, and I think it's like $5. It's not expensive at all, and it's quick. It's like 40 something pages. So if you want some guidelines, or if you desire some guidelines, you can just get the book and write the guidelines out. But like I said before, you don't really need me for this. The vetting begins at your rules, what you require, what you desire. And every woman has different aspirations or different things they want out of a relationship. This is the reason why it's hard for me to say, hey, go do this right here, because you might not want what I want. I'm vetting for something that I desire. You should be vetting for the things that you desire. And this is the reason why I give you some guidelines. But what I suggest is take whatever I give you and make it yours. Make it yours so you can get what you want and not what I want. I don't want you to end up with what I want. I want you to end up what you want. This is what the Pedestal Wife is all about, living the desires of their hearts and the things that they want out of life, not what I want out of life. I feel like if I has nothing to hide, it shouldn't be a problem. If he's worried that I'm an identity thing that we're not a match. I love this girl. I love that Pedestal Wife. She's telling it real and raw because that is true. That is true. I agree with that. There shouldn't be anything to hide. There shouldn't be anything to hide. If you can, if he's trying to make it hard for you not to be able to look him up or look him on social media or look and see what his true name is, yeah, that's like a red flag. Why would you hide that anyway? Why would you hide that in? If you don't have anything to hide, put it all on the table, baby. Put it all on the table. But I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm glad that y'all are thinking out of the box because you have to think outside the box these days when you're dating, when you're dating. You cannot, you have to actually make things to your liking. Like I said before, I would be vetting for the type of man I desire. You should vet for the type of man you desire. And this means you may have to add something to that vetting process that's going to help you get the man you want, not the man I want. That's what it's about. It's about you getting your desires, not mine. But thank you all for showing up. Y'all, I know this is a quick live, but I do have like a lot of consults later on this evening. And since I don't see any other questions, I'm going to get ready to go. But this video is going to be on the YouTube page. So don't worry. If you missed it, just go back and watch the replay. Vetting, I have a vetting book. I have a vetting checklist. I think I have a lot of content for vetting. So if you're confused about that, just go back and look at that information. And of course, look at this information. Any tips for vetting online? Let's see, for vetting online. Oh, okay. We're talking about like Tinder, Bumble, all those people. Because the only thing you can possibly do is vet once you talk with that person back and forth. You're going to have to look at what he's sending back and forth. If he is like men online are going to be sending stuff about sex anyway. So y'all need to get over that. Most men are going to be trying to get you in the bed. That's not a bad thing. The thing is if you're online and you're constantly talking back and forth with this man, but he is not trying to set a date. He's not trying to go out on a date with you. That's a red flag. Because you're not his entertainment. You should not be trying to be a Wi-Fi wife. You should not be a person that he can just call when he's bored. If he's not trying to get to know you, and I will stop texting back and forth. At some point, after you realize I want to go out on a date with this dude, then stop texting with him. And then anyway, stop texting period before that date. Because you want to have something to talk about. You don't want to sit and have all the deep conversations via text. When you can't look in his eyes, you can't vet how his mannerism is when he answers a question. Y'all, the thing is, what I found with texting, this is the reason I don't like texting. And I really don't text a lot, period. Because of that, I can't, somebody can send me something and it looks like it's rude. You know, even this is the reason why I don't really pay attention to the comments too on like my social media, because it can look like it's rude, but a person may not mean it to be rude. I can't see their eyes. I can't see their mannerism. I can't see their expression. So I can't determine if it's rude or not. This is the reason why I kind of be very careful about when I comment on social media, because you can't see that thing. That's the same thing when you're dating with somebody online. You need to have a face-to-face interaction to some form, even if it's just FaceTime. FaceTime is a good way to be able to see that person's face. So if you're doing FaceTime, you can get to see their expression. See if you can y'all know that when somebody's lying, they're eyes constantly moving and stuff like that. So you can watch and look at all the mannerisms to see if that person is like being truthful or he's trying to hide something. And you want to definitely move away from texting and FaceTime to face-to-face dates, face-to-face interactions. So you can really get to know that person. You don't want to waste your time being some Wi-Fi wife or being somebody's entertainment, and he's not trying to go, further with you. So, and you can see that if you're trying to vet somebody online, you can see if he's never trying to have an in-person date. If he's always just trying to text you, or when he's bored, or when he's doing something, like I'd be like, you need a friend, because I'm not that. We're not friends like that. I don't know you. You want to get to know me? We can have a date, but I don't know you. Stop the texting. Stop that back and forth things with men online, especially if he's not trying to move towards having a real date. Don't spend all your time texting him and let him send you good morning, texts and stuff like that. Y'all don't waste your time like that. Don't waste your time like that. Some of these men that are online are married and they're trying to find entertainment. It's their way of cheating without cheating, without physically cheating. So be careful with that. I would be looking to see if he's trying to move towards a date. And I would still use some of the same guidelines, you know. I would still use the same guidelines, even I'm dating online, I'm dating in person. Do you recommend we have a phone chat before a date or not? Pedestal Wife, you want to get stuff done. So I would go ahead and get that phone chat at ASAP, because then you could be able to tell if you want to go any further. Like if you sit here and have a FaceTime date with a man and you feel like it's not going any further because y'all are not clicking and he's saying stuff that's off the wall, or he's just saying stuff that's sexual. He's just staying in that realm. No matter what you say, you can't get him to stop talking about sex. That's a red flag. Now, of course, a man gonna talk about sex. He gonna want sex. But if you can't change the conversation to something else, and that's the only thing you want to talk about, then you already know what it is. But yes, I would go ahead and try to move to a phone chat quickly, so then I can be like, okay, well, look, I'm not all about this like this FaceTime stuff and texting. I'm not even really good at those type of things. I really want, if it's not a face-to-face date or you just looking for entertainment, I'm not looking for that right now. I'm actually out here dating. Be straightforward like that. Brella's right. I think Bumble and Timber are infamous for husbands looking for side chicks. Absolutely. Like, and you can tell because they're going to be wanting to talk about one thing. They're going to be trying to get you, to a hotel room and not to a date. And you need to be aware of that. You need to be listening to what he's saying and what he's talking about. What type of conversation is he having? But I think honestly, you would be better off with a face-to-face date with that man in order to get the gist of him and to get to you. It's easier for you to be able to ask those questions. But I'm with her. I'm with her on Pedestal Wife on YouTube, where she pretty much getting straight directly to it. Because you don't want to waste time. Who wants to waste time being online or being some Wi-Fi wife or being some man's entertainment? Don't waste your time. You could be out here dating multiple other men, instead of wasting your time with one who isn't trying to do anything. He isn't trying to do anything. He just wants entertainment. Sometimes Instagram, it's a red flag when he want to accept your friend request at the point he's married or in a relationship. Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with that. If he doesn't want to accept your request, he doesn't want to have any any type of digital footprint with you on it. That is an issue. But like I said, let's get that face-to-face interaction so we can determine and go ask the right questions. So we can ask the right questions and get to know that man a lot better. Let's not try to stay a Wi-Fi wife. Let's not try to stay entertainment. Move forward. Now, I like the fact that y'all Pedestal Wives are just thinking about, let's get straight to it. Like, let's not waste our time. We don't have time to waste. We want to, if it's going to be something real, we want to know it's going to be real. When we see him put out all our eggs in, anyway, I would suggest y'all put all y'all eggs in one basket. You are single until married, okay? So you do not put all your eggs in one basket in the first place. There is a high value man that always approaches me but never asks me how. Why is that? He is my type. Okay, so he approaches you but he doesn't ask you out. Why is that? And he is my type. Okay, if he's not asking you out, he's not in the running. He has to ask you out. Even if you like him, he has to make that move. And are you making sure when he approaches you that you're giving him signals that you like him, that you want to talk to him? Now, look, let's make sure that if a man is approaching us, that we're at least smiling and at least being open with our, mannerisms, and not be like giving him like the mean mug because he came over. We're not doing the little boy, little girl stuff. Making sure he's getting that energy that you want to talk to him. Yes, sorry, bad typing, LOL. Okay. So when he's approaching you, giving him all that, giving him all the single signals that you want to talk to him, he's still not approaching, that's on him, sis. That's on him. And I wouldn't sit here and stress myself out about somebody who's not willing to make the move. Because if you make the move, and some people do say, hey, go make the move. You can make the move and then you can be chasing for the rest of that time. And I would suggest doing that. If he really wants to ask you out, he'll say something. He'll make that move. Just make sure you're giving him signals that you want to be asked out. As long as those two are lining up, you should be fine. Maybe he is shy. Maybe he's in a relationship. Maybe he admires you, but like he's not ready for anything like right now. Those are things that could be constantly could be going on right now. He might just admire you, but not ready. He might be in a relationship himself, like have a girlfriend and is not going to make a move, or he just maybe shy and just unsure of himself, and he has to get over that. If he wants to go on a date with you, he's going to have to get over that. He's going to have to ask you out. He's going to have to make that first move. As long as you're giving the signals that you want him to make that move. Okay, yes, very true. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right, so I'm going to get ready to go. But remember, you don't need me for vetting. Only thing you need to do is look at your blueprint, look at your rules of engagement, your rules for requirement of entry, and decide what that person has to do in order to get that from you. So this way, you're always going to be in a space where you're not going to be taken advantage of. You're not going to feel like someone did you dirty if they got this from you. Don't give everything away. Remember, your blueprint is you. It is what makes you you. It is what created you. Is what you like, what you want out of life. It is you. All the things and your experiences that you've had in life, that is your blueprint. So I will see you all on the next one. Remember tomorrow we're gonna have like a special stream. I want to make sure I make y'all aware of this. And the reason for that is because normally on Wednesday, I don't come online. Usually I stay in my private Facebook group and I do my stream there. But tomorrow we're gonna have a special stream on Wednesday on social media, and it's all about the attitudes of men. I'm going to talk about when a man has attitude, how to know it's actual attitude, and when it isn't. So you'll be aware of this, and you're going to want to pair that with the inside the mind of a man. That's going to be very helpful. I'm giving you the name of that other video so you can pair it with it for tomorrow's video. And I'm going to be doing that the same time, same place. But then after that, I'm going to go into the Pedestal Wife community, and we're going to have a private stream, and that's going to be about beauty standards and the results that matter. So I will see you all on tomorrow. Y'all have a great one. Thank you for showing up. I appreciate you all. Bye.